It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You are live with Expresso. Obviously, we are talking all about going back to school at the moment, and we had a great kind of a bigger picture cast of where education is and how it's evolving. But I think we always apply school issues and mental issues when it comes to young people to a certain sector. We don't often think about our young'uns, and this has really sparked a light bulb moment for me. So first-time author Malisa Dubel joins us on your Feel Good Breakfast show this morning to chat about what looks like the most beautiful literary offering. It's a children's book. Look at that. Miss Mole's Favorite Things. It looks like something I can pick up and read to my daughter. And the book was written during lockdown in 2020, and the aim is to help children find their joy again. Perfect timing as kids head back to school, because preschool is also school as well. Malisa, thank you so much for joining us. You look ready for 2022. You are exuding an energy, which I suppose must be the case because you've done something amazing. You've created a book.
Oh, thank you.
And you've done it in lockdown as well. For a first-time author, what has this journey been like for you? I would imagine quite a challenging process. Or was it easy?
A bit of both, really.
Really?
Thank you for the wonderful introduction, Graham. Lovely to finally meet you as well. Yeah. Big fan. Yeah, so it was a bit of both. This is a lockdown story, because you know how you always say, I want to write, and you don't really get to it because life is so busy. And then finally in lockdown, one good thing that came out of it was the beautiful time I had to actually sit down and write.
Be creative, yeah.
And be creative. But it was tricky. The tricky bit was I moved country. So I spent 2020 in the South African lockdowns, only to move to London and to experience all the UK London lockdowns.
Yeah, no, I've been there as well.
In time for Christmas to be cancelled. So that was the tricky part, but I just thought, okay, let's make the best of it and let's get creative. And obviously, the thing that inspired this was I really missed being separated from the children in my life. I love children, I'm a teacher, as well as other hats that I wear. But I really missed, you know, at such a young age, and 6 months, so much happens, you know, in their development in 6 months. And so when I chat to my two little nieces here in Cape Town, and I have another niece in America and some family in Europe, but we couldn't see each other, so we'd, you know, sort of Zoom, or as you do, chat online.
Thank goodness we've had that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And but I would notice the happiness levels were a bit low. And my way of doing that, to lift the happiness levels, was to engage and tell stories. And so this book grew from there.
You might be my spirit animal right now, because I was separated from my kids for 3 months at the end of last year. Broke me, completely broke me. I think as an adult, probably the most difficult thing that I've actually had to go through, which was the crazy schizophrenic aunt, because they were in the UK. So it was this crazy time, this uncertainty, and I couldn't break away from the idea of my 4-year-old boy, what was going through his mind, his journey through that process, if it was doing this to me. And we forget that little people experience emotions on the same level, probably even more intensely, whether it's joy, whether it's sadness, whether it's depression.
Absolutely.
Why the focus on young people specifically, and what have you learned through this process? Because you've got to be obviously deeply personally kind of, you've got to examine yourself. When treading in the space of children, you've got to tread really lightly. What was that side of the process like, and delving into the mind of little people?
Well, I used my own childhood, because when I was 6 going on 7, in my own childhood, I had quite a tricky time. My parents got divorced, and obviously that's really sad. And so from the outside, everything looked great. I just was going to school, coming home, doing my homework, you know, still looked like a normal kid. But on the inside, there was the sadness. And kids this age don't understand. They don't understand all the stuff that goes on in the adult's world, but they feel it. You know, they absorb everything. And so one trick that luckily my parents, they did have a bit of a tricky divorce, but they focused on us kids. And one of the things that my father used to do was say, hey, what's your favorite thing? And it was this game we used to play, and your favorite thing could be a different favorite thing on any given day.
Love that.
And so it could be my dog, my kitten, you know, my tree house.
Brilliant premise for a book. That's awesome.
And so, yeah, so this translated into this little character, Miss Mole, and her favorite things. And so that's what I do when I want to sort of engage with a child that I see is a little bit low. That's my trick. I say, what are your favorite things? And you'll just see their little faces beaming and light up when they talk about...
comes back into the brain,
They
man.
talk about their favorite things, they focus on their joy.
I love that. Well, we're going to continue to focus on your joy and this beautiful little release and delve a little bit deeper into how you've created this and what that process was like. But the good news is, you guys at home, if you yourself are interested in getting a copy of the book, and I suggest if you've got young children that you really do listen up. We are running a very exciting competition in which you could win one of 3 copies of Miss Mole's Favorite Things, and all you need to do is answer the following question. How did you keep your kids motivated during lockdown? Personally, I'd love to hear that. And you can enter by answering the competition form on our Facebook or our Twitter pages, and then you could simply win. It's easy as that, and the competition closes 9 a.m. today. That's Thursday, the 16th of December. So get on it, please, and don't waste any more time. And you can take a look at the terms and conditions on expressoshow.com. Lisa's not going anywhere. We're going to continue our discussion in just a moment.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Hopefully you are having a fantastic morning. If you're on your way out to school for the second day of school, enjoy it. But if you're like me, your little ones aren't going back to school just yet because they're in preschool, this is just for you. We are back with Marlisa Dupel, who is chatting about her beautiful new children's book, Miss Mole's Favorite Things, as well as the importance of looking after the mental health of young children. Ourselves and our young children, we're all part of the same system. It's great creating something. It's a different thing putting it out there into the world. You've had an opportunity to do some readings, to officially launch the book. What has the reception been like? Not with the adults, with the kids.
Well, I was so blown away. We had our launch at Kids Discovery with Kathy Rotenbach, child development specialist. And she had a group of kids present, and I decided to ask each one, what's your favorite thing? What's your favorite thing? And every child answered a different favorite thing. And that got me thinking, because I thought already from this very young age, we're unique. We have our preferences, and it starts at this, this developmental stage, which is fundamental. And it was just wonderful to see, like, the first child would say ballet, dancing, and then the next child would say my hamster. And then if you got to asking them about their favorite things, they would just bubble over with conversation. And it would be, I love giving my hamster carrots, and they describe the colors. It's caramel with the white nose and white paws, and you just see them beaming. And this is obviously my intention behind the book, is to lift and raise happiness levels. Exactly.
You mentioned working with a child specialist, obviously vital when treading in this space, because it is young minds. You are becoming the custodian of not only the mind, but also the emotions of that young child. How was that experience? How much did you learn on the job going through that process, and how vital was that?
Really, I was so inspired by the children, the young children, and I started with the children in my life. And I can't tell you how much we learn from them. They live in the now, they live in the moment. And I think that's what adults need to come back to. We, obviously get caught up in our work or not having work with, recent lockdowns. And that anxiety, that sort of spreads, and children absorb that, and we need to become aware of that, because it does affect them. They don't understand what's going on, but they feel it. They feel it. So that awareness is crucial.
As someone who's distilled this information, because we were talking about this off air, I'll write a novel, I think, because you can work with an editor who's going to help you distill it and handle all the practical elements. Writing a children's book, very different, because you've got to really distill it down to something that parents can take in and learn something from.
Yes.
Because the child, yes, is going to get the enjoyment just from the interaction between the parent and child. There's going to be a level of enjoyment. But parents who are going through this right now, what can we do to help maintain the mental health of our children?
Well, I mean, that is that's exactly what inspired this, was to have them focus on things that bring joy. you know, sort of, and a trick to doing that is to asking them what are their favorite things. And so with the book, the story is very simple. It's a little character, Miss Mole, and the reader asks Miss Mole, what are your favorite things? And she goes through all her favorite things, and the favorite things are things, it's not like, oh, my brand new iPhone.
It could be though. If you want.
It could be, I'm not, no judgment, but it's things like trees, hugging trees, big happy smiles, you know, walks in the forest, jumping in the rain, going in the rain with my gum boots.
100%.
Things
yeah.
like this, you
I'll
know,
with
things that all parents can have access to, you know, and it's just taking us back to those, the value, those core values.
What's your favorite thing?
Oh, now you're asking. So when I was a child, my favorite thing was my tree house and climbing the apple tree.
Oh, I love that, man. Take us back there.
And my favorite thing now is telling stories.
Unbelievably. Well, I hope this book is your favorite thing, and
Yes.
I hope that it's a commercial smash hit,
Thank
because
you.
you deserve it. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Beautiful, beautiful contribution to the health of our children, which is something that is fundamentally important to me. So thank you so much. Like I said, you become my new spirit animal, and I cannot wait to sink my teeth into this book. Most importantly, allow my little one to go through that process and identify what brings her and him joy, because that's what it's ultimately about. Inspiring and lifting, elevating our little ones. And we're going to give you the opportunity to win one of 3 copies of Miss Mole's favorite things. And all you've got to do is go onto the competition post on our Facebook or our Twitter pages and answer this question. All I need you to do is answer for me how you keep your kids motivated during lockdown. How did you survive and keep their mental health in check? And by answering the competition form on the Facebook or Twitter pages, you could be winning, but it closes 9 a.m. today. That's Thursday, the 13th of January. And you can find all the terms and conditions on expressoshow.com. Time now to dive back into the news.